One of the most important things that I've done is I've completely given up on myself in life. Totally. A total surrender, total failure. Because I had to come to terms with something fundamental, that the way that my mind works is so different from that of the everyday person that I encounter. And not being able to account for this difference has been disastrous. That there's not been a friends group that's endured. There's not been a work opportunity that did not sour. There's not been a business deal that didn't go bad. And the reason being is that I live in a world of hierarchical thinkers. I live in a world where people cannot tell the difference between parroting, paraphrasing ideas, and talking to themselves and actually thinking. That people like me, we don't talk to ourselves to generate ideas, and our ideas don't have a relationship to some hierarchical need to be better than other people. That no matter what it is I'm doing, I always come from the same context of making a difference and contribution. Not knowing that that's unique is a disaster, because when you're negotiating or when you're working in groups, people need to know their role. People want a job title. People want to objectify each other. They want to know and understand you, and they want to relegate you to some kind of position. And you see, me, I learned so rapidly that I don't have a good enough, I don't have a cap, I don't have an inability to stop learning. That everything I know is self-taught. It's not from education, it's not from school. It's because, unbeknownst to me, my mind works creatively. I see things. I tried to make a supercharger. The supercharger forms in my mind automatically. It doesn't form to be better than other people. It forms in consideration over my perception of physics and airflow and what's happening in these systems. And when I see something, I get excited, I get inspired. See, most people don't know what inspiration really is. Inspiration is seeing things as possible without any obstruction and then going for it. Most people need inspiration in the form of motivation. So I get people that are motivated because of self-interest, because things that I see as possible, they will interpret their own self-interest within it. But their fear of failure is going to be something that means that they needed to be left alone. That I can't take a CNC operator to the PRI show, when that's not even something that would have been on their horizon. So people that are controlling their environment, people that are living within the glass case of comfort zones, will always have problems with me. That they will initially find it exciting, inspiring, and then they'll sign on to do something, and then they'll be bogged down. They'll be looking for reasons and excuses as to why they're procrastinating, why they're failing. And of course, they're going to attack the person that brought the opportunity, that wrote the magazine articles, that put the system in place, that invented the thing that they're supposed to machine and failed to do it. And so it didn't matter if I made a millionaire in real estate. It didn't matter if I turned a business around sixfold. It wouldn't matter what I did. And so everywhere I go, there's gatekeepers, there's hierarchical thinkers, that I will learn what's happening in environments on a total scale, that I visualize everything. And I live in a world where people are educated to not only be unable to think, but to only think that knowledge is words. Like, I can hire a mechanical engineer and they can tell me the 4 cycles of an internal combustion engine, but if I bring an engine forth, they can't point to those cycles happening on a 3-dimensional engine, because they learned that for engineering school to pass a test. And so in a world where people are forced into memorizing things and knowledge is power, and you have a hierarchy, and people cannot visualize things, and so they don't want to authenticate what you can do. That you can make an objectively perfect thing or make really amazing music. But people are not going to sign off on you without the certification. People are going to turn their back on you that know you. And then because something goes wrong and it's on Facebook or Instagram or someone has a bad experience, they turn their back on you because it's unsafe socially. And then you end up realizing you have nobody because people are coming to you to take advantage, to use you, that they'll eat the pizza when you create the new business and things look good. When things look bad, they're gone. And so who you are, who I am for people, is only a tool for what they want, only a tool to advance their agendas. And then you find that nobody really knows you, that your intentions never changed. But my own failure is my failure to recognize myself. That I can run rapeseed oil in my 2,000 horsepower car because I invented pulse width modulating oiling systems and, cooling systems that enable the computer to regulate the coolant temperature using ice water and fluid heat extraction. And so eliminating engine wear, eliminating cavitation, eliminating dry starts, eliminating the concerns about viscosity changes as a function of temperature. I made a green energy machine. I know how to grow algae to make unlimited ethanol and solve global warming, or make an alarm system to stop school shootings, or a hybrid system to add 1,000 horsepower in any car and a roadster shop chassis. And I would hire aerospace engineers and give them the work. Have some of them take the money and run, and others just waiting to see what happens, and giving all the work to a CNC guy to have him not do anything and then sue me to steal my intellectual property. Unable to understand that I didn't hire engineers for ideas. I hired them for computer skills, to take my ideas and put them into a model to give to a CNC operator. And I can make a perfect plan with integrity, pay for everything myself, work on my back to fund it all, to have it blow up in my face, and then to be everybody's scam artist, to be the scapegoat as the only responsible party, as everybody scurries about, scatters, and weighs the social implications of remaining a friend or contact. I call friends ones that I put on television and did all the work for free, and they don't want to pick up because of a bad experience elsewhere, the aftermath of the latest failure, right? And so being everybody's failure, yet being unanimously committed without exception to everybody else, from writing reality show synopsises to putting friends on TV to making millionaires out of people, people think that their opinion of me is as valuable as what I do in this consumer culture, where the talentless majority of people think that they have power because they have their validation coupons they call money. And they have no value for human beings other than what you can do to help them validate themselves socially or give them more money. And so you find the fair weather friends are simply people that are parasitic to you, that can't associate with anything that they think is beneath them. And what's above and beneath them is simply a matter of social agreement, validation, money, and status within a hierarchy. And so people that don't think hierarchically like me have a very tough time seeing everything in a world of blind people. And it's Lord of the Flies. It's a Ray Bradbury Martian Chronicles story here in America, a land of victimhood and grandiosity and entitlement and Karens and Yelp reviews at 30,000 feet and surf and turf and are we there yet and buy it now. And so something that just brought me passion and pleasure and joy that I wanted to share with people would be the entitlement of people. And I had to adjust to that. Suddenly my friends see themselves as customers and hooking them up doesn't matter to them. They feel like they deserve it for some reason. And so you find that even the people that you could demonstrate the utmost loyalty and professional respect for talk about you in the most unfavorable ways, never understanding the motives or intentions because they don't share those thoughts. They don't share that orientation. And so people project themselves onto you. And you become the scapegoat if you're somebody like me in a world of blind. in a world that burns you at the stake for inventing a telescope. And so nobody wants to see you win when it disrupts the order of things. And so they would deny the excellence in what you create because they're more worried about your advancement. And they don't have the intellectual prowess to even qualify what you're talking about. They need to see evidence. You got to build a 2,000 horsepower car before people will sign off that you might understand engine dynamics. And I don't stake my identity on the simplicity of understanding something as rudimentary as a piston engine. Not at all. And I've never considered myself a car guy. I just happen to like cars. I happen to be blessed to be able to have aptitudes where I can buy my first Ratchet in 2015 and be building 1,000 horsepower cars and teaching myself everything I know. And to offer that and to see your trolling and the hatred and the vitriol and all the nastiness that comes along with the inferior-driven egos, it just let me know, like, well, I don't belong trying to impress people. It doesn't matter to me, my supercharger. Why? Because that's easy. It's simple. It's not even a starting point for what I was attempting to create. I just wanted a think tank so I could solve real social problems, but rather than try to explain the big picture to the small minds around me, I would have to adjust my conversation to cater to the average egotistical car person. Somebody that is an engineer by training, but not by aptitude. And so people that master consuming the knowledge of others and reproducing it for the purpose of test taking can't really recognize or understand a mind that creates knowledge by seeing things and simply reporting what they see objectively. And so the hierarchical ego has no objectivity, purely hierarchical, purely projecting, purely dissociative in nature, purely egotistical, purely threatened by creativity and intelligence. And people can't tell the difference between a Terrence Howard and Einstein in this world. So people like me get negated, trolled, ignored, tormented. And just for caring about people, you become the scapegoat. And so, it's a different experience. It's unrelatable. When you are like me, you get targeted. That people punish you for their own failures. People generate justifications for their lack of integrity and responsibility, and then you pay for it. Because if I put two teams together, the weak links always become the level of my own responsibility and integrity. And, while everybody is quick to dismiss your experience, they're so quick to demand the acknowledgement of their own victimhood. And so the buck always stops with the objective-minded people. And so ground up thinking, they think it's autism. They think that the sense of justice and empathy and compassion for others is a mental illness. And the creativity I have is in the DSM-5. They think that might be a bipolar disorder feature, or autism, or attention deficit. Well, attention deficit's the consequence of being able to see everything in a world where nobody can see the cause and effect in reality. Everybody sees cause and effect in terms of the hierarchy, in terms of behavioral dynamics, in terms of trying to one-up each other, in terms of the threat they feel when people are smarter than them, when they try to analyze everything you say and they cannot keep up because they have no vision. That's what they see. They see a threat. They see something that makes them uncomfortable. They can't see the forest from the trees. They cannot see the fruit. They want to cut the tree down. And so the more that you try to contribute objectively in a world of narcissists and people pleasers, the more you get nailed to the cross for it. And that's why I had to give up on my ego, so I could emerge as my consciousness instead. And that's what we're doing.